Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Journey to Understand the Bible. I'm your host Danian, and in our last episode, we went over Genesis 13 with Abram and Lot. They were separating, where basically I guess, everybody was starting to get older, and they families in land, and the families got big, and they had a lot of livestock, and there was conflicts and confrontations and everything going on, and so they decided to go, split up, and there was plenty of land out, and they decided one of them take one end and the other could take the other end, and they could basically, live in harmony without being in each other's way, and so. That's basically pretty much what Genesis 13 was the how they Abram and Lot split up and had their own lands. So now we're going to go into Genesis 14. Abram rescues Lot. About this time, war broke out in the region. King Amphrael of Babylon, King Arch of Elasar, King Kelamor of Elam, and King Tidal of Gom fought against King Bera of Sodom, King Berish of Gomorrah, King Shinab of Admah, King Shemer of Zebra, and the king of Bela, also called Zor. This second group of kings joined forces in Siddim Valley, that is, the Valley of the Dead Sea. For 12 years they had been subject to King Kedorlaomer, but in the 13th year they rebelled against him. 1 year later, Kedorlaomer and his allies arrived and defeated the Rephaites at Ashtaroth and Carnami, the Zuzites at Ham, the Emites at Karatham, and the Horites at Mount Seir, or Sire. As far as El Paran at the edge of the wilderness. Then they turned back and came to En-Misfat, now called Kadesh, and conquered all the territory of the Amalekites and also the Amorites living in Hazazon, Tamar. Then the rebel kings of Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Zebulun, and Bela, also called Zor, prepared for battle in the Valley of the Dead Sea. They fought against King Kedorlaomer of Elam, King Tidal of Gom, King Amphrael of Babylon, and King Archus of Elasar. 4 kings against 5. As it happened, the valley of the Dead Sea was filled with tar pits, and as the army of the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, some fell into the tar pits, while the rest escaped into the mountains. The victorious invaders then plundered Sodom and Gomorrah and headed home, taking with them all the spoils of war and the food supplies. They also captured Lot, Abram's nephew, who lived in Sodom, and carried off everything he owned. But one of Lot's men escaped and reported everything to Abram the Hebrew, who was near the oak grove belonging to Mamre, the Amorite. Mamre and his relatives, Ishkol and Aner, were Abram's allies. When Abram heard that his nephew Lot had been captured, he mobilized the 318 trained men who had been born into his household. Then he pursued Chedorlaomer's army until he caught up with him at Dan. There he divided his men and attacked during the night. Chedorlaomer's army fled, but Abram chased them as far as Hobah, north of Damascus. Abram recovered all the goods that had been taken, and he brought back his nephew Lot with his possessions and all the women and other captives. Melchizedek blessed Abram. After Abram returned from his victory over Chedorlaomer and all his allies, the king of Sodom went out to meet him in the valley of Shaveh, that is, the king's valley. And Melchizedek, the king of Salem, and a priest of God Most High, brought Abram some bread and wine. Melchizedek blessed Abram with this blessing: "Blessed be Abram by God's Most High, Creator of heaven and earth, and blessed by God's Most High, who has defeated your enemies for you." Then Abram gave Melchizedek a tenth of all the goods he had recovered. The king of Sodom said to Abram, "Give back my people who were captured, but you may keep for yourself all the goods you have recovered." Abram replied to the king of Sodom, "I solemnly swear to the Lord God Most High, Creator of heaven and earth, that I will not take so much as a single thread of sandal thong from what belongs to you. Otherwise you might say, I am the one who made Abram rich. I will accept only what my young warriors have already eaten, and I request that you give a fair share of goods to my allies, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre." And that's pretty much how that chapter ended. Okay, so what I got from this chapter is basically Lot was captured, and Abram, his uncle, I thought it was his grandson, his uncle had to come in and he got his army, his people that he had on his side, and they went and took out the invaders, got all the women and the food and all the supplies and everything back, and replenished everything. And basically Abram was the hero, and he got the kings wanted to come meet this guy and basically let him keep everything that he had except for his people, because he didn't want him to think that he basically because he was gonna basically I don't know if it's a tenth of all of his stuff was considered tithes or something, but yeah, he basically let him keep everything that he got during the invasion. And I'm not sure, this one here it was more of like a war, basically. It's not too much to just understand about this chapter outside of that Abram got captured and became a POW for a little bit, and his uncle had to come. I mean, not Abram. Lot got captured and became a POW, and his uncle had to come rescue him, and then his uncle ended up getting praised by the kings after returning back with all the people and all the goods. And that was pretty much it. I mean, it's not too much going on in this chapter either, really, but again, I'm just trying to go through each chapter and read and officially read the whole book of Genesis, and then I'm gonna go to the next book and the next book until I finally complete the Bible. So if you like what you saw or what you heard, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.